So apparently Google offered, first time ever, voluntary quitting. Their voluntary exit program. I think that's what it's called, VEP. But yeah, it's I guess it's shocking, surprising, yet not. But yeah, it comes at a interesting time for that to actually happen. Apparently in the search and ads, which is where we all live. So not a great indicator for tech overall.
Well, but then you have on the other side, Zuck is offering $100 million pay packages for AI talent.
So crazy. Like, what is actually AI talent, right? Okay, so I admit there are a select few of like scientists and like these gurus who actually build these AI models, right? But the rest of us are just working around it. And so it's like, yeah, people looking for AI talent. It's like, what does that actually mean? You've worked with AI? Like, I'm AI talent, I guess, because I worked on not Gemini, but like searches AI stuff. Does that make me AI talent? I don't feel like it, but technically I could
You
position
should you
myself
should
that.
apply.
I probably should. Be like Anthropic or something. But anyways, episode 66, here we are. Only a couple topics because it's Father's Day and I got a sink to install, so we should enjoy our special days today. What do we have? The WWC recap. We kind of made our predictions last week, so we'll go over that a little bit. And then how could we not talk about Musk as his Robotaxi service is supposedly going to launch, not just testing, but actually launch the service next. And there we go. It
Yeah. WWC was interesting. I think we made some predictions last week, and
was pretty good, pretty close.
yeah, it was close. Overall, I think the main reaction from what I saw from many people was like bland.
Yawn.
It wasn't really a redesign. Like, you were talking about because they're switching their software update names to match the year. So this is going to be iOS 26
Yep,
for 2026,
yep.
which is a big leap from what do you have out there right now? 18 or 19?
18?
Yeah. Then it should be backed up with a huge redesign or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
But the main narrative was liquid glass, which was the emphasis of the WWDC in my mind. And that
yeah,
was their, I guess, leap into a new era for the OS.
yeah. Liquid glass. I have thoughts. Some people thought it was cool. A lot of people didn't think it was cool. I think in the Google world, we would call this somebody's looking for a promo. You know what I mean? It's like work that didn't need to be done, but somebody needed to do it because they were looking for their next promotion. I mean, it looks cool. You could kind of do something similar in Android with like custom themes where everything's like glass looking. I did think there was some commentary that's like, we'll have to see how it plays out, but it's already kind of like glassy or transparent in a few instances, and I can't imagine if it's all like liquid, what the overlays look like. I guess to me, that's where people are trying to make the gotchas is like, what are the different overlays look like if
Yeah.
everything is fully transparent versus semi-transparent like they are in the OS today. But I mean, it was kind of meh. It was like, all right, so you're redoing the UI that I frankly think is already okay, you know? I guess it's hard to do something revolutionary. It's like, why not just keep evolving like you always do?
Yeah.
Like the OS isn't where I'm seeing like the innovation needs to happen at the moment because they don't have any technology to support anything innovative.
Well, I think as Apple does, every time they talk about something, it's hard to really know what it feels like.
Yeah,
Once the OS comes out, and I'm assuming their new device this year is going to make it so the new liquid glass design is even better. So basically, they're creating a device that's going to heavily emphasize glass.
yeah,
I'm sure it'll come up with a hit and there'll be positive reviews because that's just like what Apple has mastered in terms of design.
Yeah.
I am curious to see how it plays out because even today there's some things you can do on your iPhone that are transparent, and
Yeah.
sometimes I just have a hard time reading
Yeah.
the lettering, especially if
Yep.
it's white. Like I'm looking at an image right now and it's like the notifications are transparent and the
Yeah.
text is white. I'm just like, I don't know if Ma's gonna be able to read that.
Yeah. It's like I'm getting older. It gets more challenging to read things where there's not enough contrast between things, right? And so that's why I'm curious on how they decided this was the thing they were going to hang their hat on.
Oh,
Reminds me of when they introduced dark mode. It's like,
sorry,
oh,
can you repeat that? It reminds you of what?
it reminds me of like when they introduced dark mode.
Oh yeah.
It's like, ah, dark mode. It's like, okay, you just made everything dark, but it was like this big thing.
Well, I think this is more of a big thing as a first foundational step to support spatial computing and lens computing in the future.
You think so?
So I think a lot of Vision OS stuff and a lot of lens stuff, glasses, if you will, are going to need liquid glass design so that you can see through everything and still be able to function with them. So I think that's what this is primarily a jumping point for. Now, can they deliver on those things in the future? We'll see. Time will tell. Like, I haven't been able to yet,
Yeah,
but I think that's the strategy here is it's setting themselves up for that because they need to be in the game no matter what.
yeah,
How they're in the game, whether it's through an acquisition or being a third party software, for example,
yeah,
is what they're setting up for.
yeah. Speaking of Vision OS, they did actually call it out this time of, hey,
Mm.
we didn't forget about Vision OS. We've got some big updates. And having said that, it was really more about it looks like they're trying to hone in on how people are actually using Vision OS. Remember when they launched it, it was kind of like, oh, you can do all this type of stuff, but now they're starting to introduce features where it's like, oh, this is how people are actually using it.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's all centered around not watching movies.
It's about like doing stuff in the home and
Yeah, it's about doing stuff at home, which I thought was interesting because I would have assumed also that it would probably be more of like an entertainment-ish type device.
I mean, I would hypothesize that the data tells them that's all that people use it for, watching movies. So why do they need to even market or talk about that since that's what people are doing already?
Yeah,
They should market other things that people can do so
yeah,
that people start doing that more.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, we'll see.
I,
Don't remember. Go ahead.
I like what I really liked from the WWC event was when they showed their process of making liquid glass design.
Mm.
So it was like they had those actual fiberglass or glass blocks and circles and stuff in different colors or clear, and they would put it on top to kind of
Oh,
show like how they think about creating these user experiences. I thought that was really cool. If that's indeed what they do, I'm sure that is what they do. But if that is indeed what they do, I thought that's a really cool way of designing.
trying to visualize it.
Yeah. Because it's like you're
Yes.
actually using real physical glass.
Yeah. What is it? Method acting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out. When is this launching? End of the year again? I think that's what I heard.
The other thing that I thought was interesting is they are making some pretty big changes to messages or improvements to messages app
Hmm.
and what is it? The phone app
What's with the phone?
where with messages they are making it easier for you to be more social. They're adding backgrounds, which Meta Messenger already has. And for the phone call, and even with SMS, but also the phone call, they have this whole security layer now, this filtering layer. Did you watch that one where
I didn't catch
you,
the security one.
yeah, you can actually, and so this is to address spam calls. You'll be able to turn on a feature that actually pre-screens the call for you. So it'll answer the call and be like, state your purpose, state your name, blah, blah, blah. And if it deems that it's a spammer, then it won't even ring on your phone.
Oh,
If it deems
interesting.
that it's a legit call, then it'll ring the phone so that you pick up.
I thought it already did. Oh, okay, no. It only does like voicemail preview or
Yeah.
the voice preview, but it doesn't actually do anything with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that, and then they also talked about real-time translations.
That was kind of cool. It kind of
Yeah.
does something like that already, doesn't it?
Who?
Real-time translation.
I don't think so. But
Oh,
what
I'm thinking of Google. Google
well,
can do
yeah, I'm
that.
not gonna say Google talked about it at their last event,
Yeah.
but I would say Google's implementation was much better
Yeah.
than Apple's implementation.
This is where when you don't really pay attention, when you really don't focus on privacy, you just have so much more data to leverage.
Yeah, I think like the way Google did it is person's talking and then it does like the first couple sentences and then just like the translation takes over. Apple's way, it spoke the actual like foreign language completely. Then it does the translation. So you actually listen to two audio snippets. One is the language, the other is translation, which is
Yeah.
kind of janky.
Yeah.
And they didn't support video chatting translation, which Google's demo did.
Yeah.
So those are some of the like messages, phone calls, SMS. They've
Yeah.
made some improvements to those, like core apps, which
Yeah.
was good, but somewhat lackluster in my opinion.
Yeah. It wasn't mind blown. And the biggest thing, of course, was no movement on Siri at the moment, which stock market did not like. So that was the biggest miss. Not a lot of AI
Yeah.
talk.
Didn't they come out and say that's delayed till next year?
Yeah. So people are just like, what's taking so long? This is Apple, one of the top five largest market cap companies in the world that basically pump cash like nobody's business and they can't get AI
Yeah.
started or right. So something's wrong.
I really think that they just have to acquire someone like at this point.
Yeah.
And so who is that, right?
I know. There's so many private ones
Who do
out
you put your
there.
money in on speculation of an acquisition?
Yeah, I know. Well, see, that's the thing. There's nothing out there that's like everything is pre-IPO at the moment. Like this one company I knew nothing about, but Facebook took a large stake in this company called Scale AI,
Mhm.
which one of the female co-founders, for some reason I just saw, she's worth more than Taylor Swift at this point, like over $1 billion. That was the
Oh,
headline.
her name is like Guo. I think I follow her on
Yeah,
Instagram. Go for it
yeah, something like that. That's the only reason I'm aware of Scale of it. Yeah,
because
made
she
a
ran her own ad touting her fortune.
yeah, yeah. So made a huge play for investment in Scale AI, and of course Google was working with it, and now Google is pulling back, thinking about canceling their $200 million contract. Now they have to go find another AI person
You know.
player to pick up. So yeah, interesting stuff that's happening in this space.
Last thing I'll mention is CarPlay. They also had a big section around CarPlay and how they're improving it, but also going to start partnering with a ton of other companies to be like
Yeah,
the software of the car.
I wonder. It's like it's still more of like a entertainment hub or the infotainment system, right? Versus like a Rivian who's actually building like the platform to run the car. So I'm still curious, like what's the end game there with CarPlay, right? Is it to move into be the platform for the car, or is it still the infotainment hub? Because I feel like automakers are going to be moving or wanting to have more than just an infotainment.
What is infotainment to you versus software for the car?
Infotainment means it's just there to like listen to music, like maps, watch a movie, I guess, like the Teslas. That's pretty much all it does versus like the Rivian where you're actually controlling the function of the entire car through the interface.
Yeah.
I make the distinction is like infotainment is like you can't really control the car. Like you're not going to change the ride height of your car, right? You're not going to I don't know what all you can do on Tesla, but like the door windows, the heating carry, the cooling and heating, adjusting your seats, right? Some other newer cars, if you have the air suspension, you can use it to adjust the ride height, the ride feel of sports mode or comfort mode. Like that's kind of what I think of, and maybe I just haven't used CarPlay in that way, or I haven't found a car that goes beyond that with CarPlay.
Yeah.
It's like a dual system. Like CarPlay does certain things, and then the car will revert back to the rest of its own platform to handle the more car features.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they had shown. So to answer your question, I think they're trying to evolve towards being more than infotainment system. Because I remember they had shown that they showed this concept of it being like in the dash and showing speed, like speedometer, as well as like air condition control. So that was kind of the limit of what they showed.
Yeah,
But given that, I think that's what they're trying to go to now. If they actually are able to do it successfully,
yeah,
and then my question is, I don't know if the demo is more just like showing information versus actually being able to control like
right.
the air, for example. They
Yeah,
definitely didn't show controlling the
yeah,
seats, but it was much more of an improvement than what I've seen in the past. So,
yeah,
and a lot of people I know lately, like they're very used to CarPlay,
mm,
especially if they don't have Rivian or
yeah,
EVs.
yeah.
Like most people I hear like to use CarPlay.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better than your traditional automaker infotainment system,
Infotainment.
which I don't understand. Like, how are they still so bad at it? It just makes no sense to me how awful their interfaces
Yeah.
are.
Well, I still have a car that doesn't have any infotainment system, so
But yeah, same here. Mine doesn't either.
yeah, we have this older 2014 Beamer that doesn't have. It was like the basic model, so it doesn't have any digital things.
Oh, really? Well, I
So
mean,
it still has a CD player.
that could be a thing too. Is going back to, more real world touch type controls. There's a movement for that.
I mean, that's
Automakers.
my biggest gripe with Tesla's touchpad. There's a couple of and those only work if you design a good user interface. But Tesla's user interface has a lot of quirks.
Yeah.
And then the latest thing now is because I use full self driving so much, and they've doubled down on eye monitoring. So if I just look at my infotainment system to like select a song, it'll tell me to pay attention to the road. And so I leave feedback. I like disengage autopilot. Whenever you do
Yeah.
that, you can leave feedback.
Yeah.
And it says, "What's your feedback?" I'm like, "Design your thing better so I don't have to look at it for so long,
You're
and then
right.
I'll pay attention to the notification."
Yeah. I saw this headline where somebody caught a Tesla testing LiDAR again.
All right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
interesting that
Well, that's a good
it,
transition to the next story since we've talked a long time about WWC, and we'll find out more about WWC in September when they do the hardware event,
yeah.
which is where I'm going to upgrade my phone.
Are you
It's the
really?
14 to the what they call it iPhone 26.
Actually, that would be interesting. The phone based off the year. That
Yeah.
actually would make more sense.
I'm more a fan of nicknames, like Google Jelly Bean.
I mean, they still do it with the Mac OS. Tahoe's the new one. Yeah, Tahoe.
Yeah. So Tesla, do you want to sum up this one?
Yeah, so Tesla, I know we kind of mentioned it yesterday, but Elon confirmed that they're targeting a June 22nd launch, as in they want to start picking up and dropping off
Charging.
passengers and charging people for it. So that'll be interesting because, yeah, it seems rushed. Have they
Seems
tested
rushed.
enough? Well, I mean, have they tested it? Like, I guess I just don't know how many miles they've tested, like with their own drivers first. Like Waymo, for example, right? You see them driving around with just drivers just collecting data for the longest time before they actually started wanting to pick up people.
But Tony, you don't understand. They've been testing for the last 10 years almost.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone's
okay.
Tesla is
Yeah.
connected to the neural network, which
Yeah.
has been
Yeah. Yeah.
feeding up data.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
that's what
though
they
you,
talk about. They talk about having like over billions. I don't know what the next level after billion is
Yeah.
of data because of everyday people driving Teslas.
Yeah. Okay, you say that, but I mean, still, they're only doing 10 cars, 10 vehicles to start. They're geofencing it to the safest parts of Austin.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know what that means, but
Well, I think it's what you've said in the past. It's because the vision technology is not as accurate or not as maybe foolproof as LiDAR, right?
yeah,
I think that's more why versus actually having the data.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I guess we'll see. The geofence, well, I won't knock them for geofencing because like I think Waymo started out to be geofence, but Waymo is more geofence in like specific like central San Francisco, right? It wouldn't take you out of San Francisco into the Bay.
Yeah.
But this is like it looks like they're doing it like on a intersection by intersection basis.
It's like hard coded.
Yeah, it's not giving me confidence there. But I
Well,
mean, well, we'll see. We'll
they
see.
did. I mean, they do have vehicles driving around already.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of those clips?
Yeah, I've seen
And it's funny,
a
like
few.
we look at those clips, like, oh yeah, I remember where that is. I forget. Do you remember where that was?
No, I don't.
I forget
Which one are
exactly
you
where it
talking
was in
about?
Austin, but I actually remember Circle A. And yeah,
Circle Way.
yeah, the
I'd have to
clip is
think.
like the Robotaxi, driving by, and it's driverless, so just driving
Yeah.
itself,
No.
but has nobody in it. So they're
Yeah.
testing it out.
Yeah.
22nd, that's this weekend.
Yeah. Somewhere in South Austin, which I guess makes more sense.
And if you haven't followed up and keeping up to date with the Tesla Trump stuff, which is relevant to this, the government did say there was some news that there was going to be some like lifts on regulations for driverless cars. Yeah. So the NHTSA is looking to ease rules and streamline the application process that could hinder development and licensing autonomous vehicles. And this coincides with Elon kind of apologizing to Trump, deleting some of his tweets, and essentially the two silently coming to a truce, I guess, versus
Yeah.
making up.
Yeah.
So that's a big win for them, and we'll see how it plays out. But yeah,
There we go. That's it.
you're like not paying attention.
No, I was just thinking, it's like, yeah, I was thinking there's another headline of like Elon tweeted, like, I regret some of the things I'd said or what such, and that basically ended their bro drama.
Yeah,
And they're on either neutral terms or kind of like, yeah, bro, I'm sorry.
just hug it out.
Yeah, let's hug it out and get past this and kind of leave it at that, you know.
Oh yeah, he must have been on the drugs.
Yeah, he must have. But I guess we'll see.
All right.
There
Well,
you go.
happy Father's Day to everyone out there who is a father.
You
Have
too?
fun finishing up your sink.
Hopefully.
I'm gonna go eat some dim sum.
Ooh, nice. I miss dim sum. Dim sum here in Texas is just not the same as California.
We just gotta drive 3 hours to Houston.
It's like Houston, yeah. It's actually 4.5.
4 minutes.
Traffic sucks.
All
All
right.
right.
Talk to you
Enjoy.
next week.
See ya.